A lot of people really love the Intel Arc B580, but today we're building a PC that may have a fatal flaw with it.
For $540, we're building one of the cheapest Intel Arc B580 builds, but as we discovered as we were playing this video, that might be a bad idea. Don't believe us? We're gonna show you why after a word from today's sponsor.
It's a brand new year, which means it's time for some brand new deals. Thanks to Micro Center's Winter Savings Event, you can score some incredible savings all month long. They've got some exciting news for all the PC enthusiasts out there. NVIDIA just announced their latest line of GPUs, and guess who's ready to hook you up? That's right, Micro Center. They've got the best selection of the new NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5080 and 5090 models, so you're ready and covered on launch day. And if you are thinking about upgrading to one of these powerhouse GPUs, but not sure what to do with your old one, Micro Center's exclusive GPU trade-in program has your back. And if you bought your current GPU at Micro Center and it's still in working condition, you can bring it back up to Micro Center and get an offer for it that day. Plus, if you're holding on to outdated tech you no longer need, they can help you recycle responsibly or even donate an old computer to a charity. Because upgrading should feel good in more ways than one. And for those of you who live in or around Santa Clara, this is your reminder that the brand new Micro Center store is on the way. Be sure to sign up for their grand opening giveaway and snag a free 128 gig flash drive when the doors officially open. So whether you're hunting for deals, upgrading your rig, or saying goodbye to some old tech, Micro Center is the one-stop shop for all your PC needs. Click the link in the description down below to check them out. And thanks again to Micro Center for sponsoring today's video. Now, let's dive back in.
So if you guys didn't know, we've been doing a ton of Intel Arc B580 content. So originally when we planned this build, which was a few weeks ago, we just wanted to build the cheapest Intel Arc B580 gaming PC, but within reason. We wanted it to actually be a pretty solid build with an upgrade path. And after we planned this video, and then recently we've seen some videos come out where apparently the B580 with older CPUs experiences quite a bit of driver bottleneck.
There's a lot of driver overhead when it comes to these Intel Arc cards, and when you go to really budget CPUs from testing from creators like Hardware Unboxed, you start to notice that there is a major difference between the Intel Arc B580 with a budget CPU and let's say an RX 7600 from AMD and a budget CPU, like sometimes 30 to 40 FPS differences, which is actually quite crazy. But in today's video, we're actually gonna use this as a way for us to test that theory. We got a $540 PC using the B580, and then we're gonna use either an RX 7600 or RTX 4060, depending on what we have available which one we want to go with, and we'll do some side-by-side benchmarks to see, is the problem as bad as people are making it out to be, or is there something else to the story? Let's go and talk about all the parts and put this PC together.
So rather than going with something like a Xeon, we decided to go with something that has a pretty good upgrade path that everyone can get their hands on. The Ryzen 3600 6-core 12-thread. We got this one off of eBay for $60, but if you go to AliExpress, you can spend even less money to get just the CPU alone. So I definitely recommend checking out eBay and AliExpress. Now paying that price, you don't get a cooler with it, and honestly, I don't really want to use the AMD stock cooler because we can make something look a lot nicer, like this Thermalright Assassin X120 Refined SC. So this is just a black tower cooler that actually looks pretty nice, and it comes in at $17.90, which is pretty cheap for Amazon. And you guys know that we love the ASrock motherboards. This is the B550M Riptide Phantom Gaming. So this is a Micro ATX board that comes in at a pretty low price of $90. And as you guys can see, it has some good features to it. We got 4 RAM slots, we have 2 4-pins for the CPU, we have underglow. And what's cool about this build, especially because we might see some bottlenecking with this Intel Arc card, is you may be able to go to something newer like 5700X, 5800X. Now that might not help your FPS a ton in all honesty with this card, but with future driver updates and whatnot, it is nice to know that you still do have a good upgrade path with this build. And that motherboard could be a little bit hard to find. We are in that season right now where parts are just really hard to get, so any parts that go out of stock, we will try to leave alternates down below. And feel free to let us know in the comments if we're missing any parts and we'll link them for you. Coming in at $29, we're not paying those DDR5 prices. This is only 16 gigs, 2x8, so it's gonna be dual channel, and it's 3200 megahertz. It's actually CL16 too, so pretty good cache latency. With 29 bucks, I mean, that's just so cheap compared to paying $80, $90 for 32 gigs of DDR5. And then we paid $30 for a Silicon Power 5 12 gig Gen 3 NVMe SSD. I would just go with the Gen 3 just to keep it cheap, but you could technically get a Gen 4 with this motherboard and CPU combo as well.
Now the star and potential problem of this PC build. This is the Intel Arc B580, which again, in all the builds we've done here on the channel, we really love the performance of this card. 12 gigs of VRAM coming in at $249 when you can find it in stock. That is one of the biggest issues with this card, is availability is quite limited, but this Founders Edition card that does pop up on Newegg every so often for around $249, good price performance, and it's one of the cleanest reference cards we've seen, especially in the budget sector. So hopefully this is not going to be too bad of a performing build with this Intel Arc B580, but we're going to find out when we put it together. And to power this build, of course, we have the Segotep GN650 80 Plus Gold. We are running a little short on power supplies right now, so this is one that was sitting in our test station over there, but you know what? It works great for this PC build. 650 watts, 80 Plus Gold, good power supply for this build overall. As Jackson mentioned, PC inventory is kind of limited right now, so this power supply even might take take some time to show up, but if you can pick this up for your budget build and you have the wattage requirements of 650 watts, it'll do a great job. Now for this budget build, we have a new case. This is the DarkFlash DB330M, or 330M, yeah, 330M. It's a very interesting name, I will say, but it is an interesting case. It comes with 3, I'm assuming, RGB fans. I can't really promise if they're ARGB or not. They might be, but it is very similar to something like an Aqua 3, but it's much smaller and has these like really interesting feet. You know, that's kind of cool. But it is a Micro ATX case with tempered glass all the way around, and coming in at $65, it's a pretty good budget case. There's a lot of cases at this price point that work really well for budget builds like this. So again, we're gonna go ahead and build this PC montage style, show you guys us putting it all together, and then we're gonna dive into some testing with the B580 and that 3600 to see, is it worth upgrading, let's say, your older system with a CPU like a Ryzen 5 3600, or building a budget PC brand new using one of them, or should you consider a different GPU at this price point?
Alright guys, we are playing Call of Duty Warzone Squid Games. This is Black Ops 6. We're currently doing the Squid Games mode. For some reason we just couldn't get in Resurgence, but we got max FOV 1440p, and we're not using any type of upscaling. We're at balanced. We've noticed Intel's upscaling hasn't really been super amazing in Call of Duty anyways. I just totally left my team, not really thinking. Alright, I'm gonna try to fly to them.
And also, we want to make it very comparable because we are going to swap to an RX 7600 for the other benchmarks.
Where are they landing?
They're going somewhere where you should go, apparently.
Yeah, so so far, I mean, it does seem like we're compared to 1440p on like the newer systems we've tested with the B580, we've definitely gotten closer to like 100 FPS.
Yeah, it's definitely lower. It'd be interesting to see, though, is it just a CPU bottleneck in general using a 3600, or with the 7600 with this 3600, should we get higher FPS? We'll see. Oh no. Oh.
Am I gonna get in trouble for shooting that thing?
Probably.
We have to get a certain amount of kills and stay alive. So that's that guy. How did he instantly, like, is that his perk?
That's probably a perk.
Drops the smoke when he goes down.
Maybe because you weren't.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's a maritime right there. We're in 13th place right now.
Oh my god. Teammate, get up. Don't you kill my teammate. Please. Oh my god. Yeah, Rizzler. Why is he laying down?
Oh, hello.
Ooh, say goodbye. Oh my god. Say hello. Hello. Oh no, I threw. I think that's enough Call of Duty. Honestly, even though we probably got like, what, maybe 20, 30 less FPS? We don't know yet. We're gonna have to test it, but it was still really playable, even at 1440p balance preset.
Next game. All right, guys, we're playing Fortnite on the B580 with a 3600, far view distance, low textures on DX12. I'll be honest, this is definitely going to be more of a CPU test, I would think. We'll see when we swap GPUs if the performance stays the same. But
I feel like the map's just one color.
It is one color. This is OG. It is just greenage. Yeah, this might be, again, more of a CPU test, if anything, but we will use it for comparison. We do have the built-in benchmarks we'll show you guys towards the end that'll easily compare both of these back and forth so we can see true differences in FPS, but yeah, we'll see how this holds up. OG is easier to run. We are running at 1440p, so it does make it a little more GPU bound.
Where did we go?
Oh, that gold star!
Literally, new whip, who dis?
Oh, that gold star being hidden. Oh! Oh! Someone's behind me, I'm gonna die. Bubbles!
Click on him.
Oh! Oh! But yeah, I would say FPS numbers in Fortnite, we're getting pretty good 150, 160 FPS. I don't imagine that's gonna change a whole lot. Where did we drop? We dropped retail row. I'll try to drop somewhat consistent for the next drop. I think it's a pass. What we're gonna go ahead and do is, before we show you guys the side-by-side benchmarks, we actually gotta swap the GPUs and test it. Then we'll show you guys what Warzone and Fortnite looks like, then run some other games side-by-side. I got Marvel Rivals, we got Wukong, we have CS2, and one other that I don't remember right now, but you guys will see at the end. So let's go ahead and swap to the RX 7600 and see if there's a difference.
All right, guys, we were playing Warzone again, but this time we're on the RX 7600 just for consistency. I'll show you guys those settings there. Yep, everything's the same, balanced, no upscaling, because upscaling would be cheating.
It would be cheating, guys. Yeah, it's a different spot. Well, we're getting like 70s to 80s. It's not too far off. If anything, it's slightly higher by a couple FPS, but we'll let, again, we can also do a little side-by-side. Stutters are definitely present.
It's weird, there's stutters, which that could just be stuff loading in potentially. It's hard to say.
Or it's also important to mention, the CPU could just be the bottleneck. Like, it could just be holding us back in certain situations, so. Now, we did choose the 7600 because it is much more in line with the price of the B580, at least MSRP. Again, we're just considering availability of these cards. If they are both available at the same price, these GPUs would be the same. So 4060 is still MSRP, like a good $20 to $30 more.
Oh, dude, that pistol, freaking not great. That's a different guy, I think.
Yeah, that's an enemy.
Teammates.
What are those clowns? Look at them run. They're like rats. Red light! Colt, look on the stick.
I'm gonna flick to this guy. Oh. I in fact did not flick to him. I want to be like mid gunfight and have it happen, yeah.
Oh. They're everywhere. Oh, we got that guy. Here they come.
Oh my god, this guy's better than me. He's so much better.
Noble Feathers gotta stay alive.
I think it's safe to, McAllister's gonna need to do some side by side to really tell. I feel like we got higher highs, but I feel like the lows weren't insanely off from the art cards.
Yeah.
So I don't know, so far it doesn't seem like it's an insane difference, but we got some stuff to talk about once we wrap the video up.
Let's run Fortnite. All right, guys, we're now in Fortnite with the 7600, again, 1440p, same settings here. We're gonna go retail row again to keep it somewhat consistent. And we'll see if the FPS is a lot higher. This looks
so much higher.
This looks a lot higher. I will say, and again, it just could be game by game. What's it called? Fortnite really likes AMD GPUs right now. I don't know why, they just do. We've seen a lot of benchmark videos that prove otherwise, so it could be a little bit of both, but if this does maintain like almost 200 FPS, that is definitely a damning thing for Intel, especially when it comes to at least budget CPUs. Because I know we were able to get the 200 FPS mark with the B580 with a slightly higher end CPU, but it does make it less appealing for those looking to just like have a drop-in upgrade. So at some points, we hit 200 right there.
We had to sit still.
Yeah, but we're looking out there. I mean, it's still 160. I will say the average before was definitely more like 140 to 150. So FPS is very sporadic. Now that everyone's killing each other, I'm just It's a big ass creature.
Yeah, look at him, he's dipping, bobbing and weaving.
Ah! If you're someone who cared about having a really nice, like high FPS average, it would probably be better, at least in this OG Fortnite scenario, by a good 10 to 15 FPS to go with the 7600. That's new.
They have the free skin. Oh,
How much health did they have? Craziness. I do think it was higher here with this scenario. So it's interesting to see. We have some other built-in benchmarks we're gonna run, compare stuff side by side to get a more controlled test. Again, this is not super controlled, so we'll get that controlled test going here. And then from there, we'll make a decision on the B580. Does it make sense for a budget PC like this, or you're better off buying the, well, tried and trusted 7600?
Alright guys, we just got done benchmarking two different GPUs because like we said, the Intel Arc B580 does have the drawback with the older CPU, but it seems like it might not be as major in a lot of the games that we tested.
Yeah, based on the games we tested in this video, we saw not a major difference except in CS2, which we'll talk about here in a second. Here are some side-by-side benchmarks. We have Black Myth Wukong 1440p medium settings with no upscaling, and with the B580 we got an average of 45, a max of 52, a minimum of 36, and with the 7600 we got an average of 50, a max of 59, and a minimum of 42. The minimums are higher there and are the averages, so again, you know, you might get more FPS going with the 7600 in this specific game. CS2 is where we saw the biggest difference using a benchmark utility on high settings to try to target a more GPU-bound experience. On the B580, you got an average of 137 and a 0.1% low of 70, and then on the RX 7600, we got an average of 152 with a 0.1% low of 88. So a big jump here in terms of FPS numbers, but we're over 100 at this point, so it depends if you care about super high refresh rate. And then we ran Marvel Rivals, not super scientific, but we did dive into two different matches. With the B580 on 1440p medium settings with low ray tracing, we got 40 to 50 FPS, and the RX 7600, while being on a different map, did get 50 to 60 FPS. So I think the conclusion is there is some merit to this being a problem for the B580. Is it as bad in every single game? At least in the games we tested, it's not horrible, but if you are somebody with an older CPU and considering plopping in a B580, it might be better for you just to consider an RX 7600 right now. But you let me know down below, are you changing your mind about the B580 because of these test results?
And as always, we hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, check out our other two YouTube channels and also our twitch.tv/toastybros. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Now this PC right here will be for sale at PCBros.tech with the RX 7600, so go check it out.
You buy this PC or a bunch of other PCs, whether they're super high-end or on a budget, we got you covered at PCBros.tech. Use code ToastyBros on checkout, you'll save 3% on your next purchase. See you guys later. Goodbye.